Yeah.
All right, everybody, we back with another episode of Wealth for the Culture, man. Relationships and finances edition. You already know what it is, man. Once a month, we bring on a couple, man, out here doing it big, out here making things happen. And I have the Neugents on. I have Princess and I have Chris. So just real quick, I just want to thank y'all for being willing to come on the show, man. Just kind of spread some game. Just living out here, black couple out here making things happen. Just get into the bag. Really, we ain't gonna speed past that either. So real quick. You got my boy Chris. If you could just do me a favor, man, just give everybody a little brief introduction about what you got going on and what you do, man.
For sure. Yeah, appreciate it. First of all, thank you for having me and my wife. I really appreciate it. It's honorable and I'm humble. So my name's Chris Neugent. I'm a Marine veteran. Right now, currently, I just left corporate America back in November, and I'm a full-time day trader. So I trade options primarily and futures. Um, Background about myself, I've pretty much done everything under the sun. Once I left the Marine Corps, I tried everything from e-commerce to building websites to copywriting. You name it. Anything we've done Airbnb together. So a plethora of things. So now I'm just kind of figuring out the trading world, just so I can provide a stable income and hold down the family. So yeah.
Okay. So you full time with it.
Yeah, full time.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. So how's that going for you?
It's rough. It's like anything, it's got its learning curves. But I've been doing it, like, I would say I started taking seriously in 2020. I got introduced to it in 2018. So I kind of know my way around it enough to be able to keep some income coming in, but I'm not at the level that I would like to be just yet.
It don't matter, man. Just the first point is just getting going, dog. And like that's what a lot of people don't even want to take that up. Just taking a chance to learn your craft. So that's definitely what's up, man. And I'm definitely happy to see that, man, because you don't see that often. Like people are just sitting out here full time trading. I tried the trading game, and I'm a long term investor now. We just gonna put it like that. I got too much to deal with to be trying to sit there and trade. Give me some crypto, give me some stocks, call it a day. But man, I'm gonna break this down with both of y'all. Because I didn't even get to ask Princess on the episode we had done, but I like to go into, coming up, what was y'all's like relationship with money for y'all families, and then we'll kind of branch into like where y'all at now with it as a married couple.
I say growing up, because I come from a single, don't know because they know me now, but I come from a single parent household. It was just me and my mom, and for like most of my life, we lived with my granny, and so it wasn't just me, my mom, and my granny though. It was like 5+ of us in a 2-bed, 1-bed house, Pheasant Grove, like all of us in this one house. So it was all of these families in the one, under one roof. And my mom, my aunt, like my cousins, my uncle, my granny, and my grandpa, we all were under one roof. And we was like still struggling, like for real, because everybody thought I was like, I had money. And I'm like, they don't know that I don't even got my own room.
Let me tell you why, because she had Jordans all the time.
Man, I don't care about none of that. Like even in middle school, people like it seemed like people thought I had money, but they didn't realize like where I came from. I feel like I didn't have like even I guess the support to like even put me on like financial literacy and things like that, because it was like go to school for me, go to college, get a good job, the same typical stuff you hear. When it came to credit, it was like, oh, use it for emergencies and this, that, and the third. So like growing up, I would say my relationship with money was trash. Even as I got older, like I was good with balancing like bills and stuff like that. I didn't necessarily have a spending problem, but it was like, oh, I make money, and I had a shopping problem. Like I would shop. That's what I would do. All throughout college, I worked at like Marshalls and stuff, so I would shop with most of my money. Like, I was good at saving money too, but it was never like invested in any way besides like 401k jobs and stuff like that. But as far as like really investing it and making the money work for me, no, it wasn't there, and nobody taught me that
stuff. Okay. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, similar background. Grew up, it was just my mom's and my sister. and my mom struggled. Like everybody parents. I was working long hours, so she didn't really have the time to teach us about money because she didn't have the time to learn about it. Just living paycheck to paycheck, or what I assume paycheck to paycheck. And so as I got older, obviously I adapted those same habits without me realizing it. So as soon as I started touching some money, like my first paycheck, it was like $530 some from the military. And I just remember looking at my phone. I was like, that's a lot of money right here. But and I'm like, I got a roof over my head because I'm living in the barracks. They giving us 3 meals a day. I ain't got to really, buy nothing. I ain't got no bills. And I'm 18, 19 at the time. I'm like, man, I think I'll blow this. So it was that constant, just kind of repeating the habit. I didn't realize that those belief systems was in me, but we never really had, much. And I know everybody said it's cliche, but that's what it was. Hamburger helper, uh, canned vegetables, noodles. It's just that's what our consistent meals was. So by the time I started touching some money, I didn't even realize that I had those habits until I got really into my mid to late 20s. So yeah, just never realized that we weren't even beginning to develop bad habits when we was growing up. And now that we're older, that's definitely something I reflect on every day. My wife as well.
Okay, so that being said, right? Because I mean, I feel like almost a lot of people I talk to like that. I ain't come from no rich background either. Like, how is it now though? Now that y'all know what y'all know, especially both of y'all being like y'all on entrepreneurial journeys and stuff like that, y'all understanding the money. Like, how's things for y'all now where it comes to finances?
Man, it's crazy. I'm gonna be real. Like the first time, I made the 6 figures, it was like, where the money is. I'm gonna be honest, because it was going and coming so fast. The money was in and out of my inventory. I'm buying stuff because at that point you feel like you got it, so you just gonna spend it. So you just spending money and not really retaining and investing in none of that. But as I continue on the journey, I've definitely gotten better with delegating what should go where, little investing, here and there. And I'm just overall, I would say better with money. And it's even to this day, it's still a learning curve to touch the amount of money that you touch now compared to what you used to make. It's like, I made less than you look at your money like, I made less than I was retaining more of that money. What's going on? Because you feel like you got it, so you just kind of spend it. But I'm definitely getting better with it as far as CPA and QuickBooks and all of that. I'm better.
Hey, y'all might going in and out real quick. Just let y'all know. I don't know what's going on. Just before we get going.
Got your joint?
What?
Your microphone joint.
You know what? Is that a little better?
Are we good?
Yeah, so one thing that we pretty much started off with, when we got together, when we got married, we I don't think we necessarily made the decision deliberately, but we've always kept our finances separate. And that's just what worked for us. To be honest, looking back on it, it was probably the best thing because I was way worse with money when we first got together. So I'm pretty sure now I think back on it, she low key was probably like, I'm gonna hold off, and I just didn't realize it. But even now, we still, even though our finances are separate, we're very transparent with each other. We know what each other's income levels are, just so that we know, if it's one of those months where she may be having slower sales, I can step in, and vice versa. So we've constantly went back and forth within our marriage in the most positive way possible, where we have each other's backs. So whenever someone's at a low point, the other one just kick in. Whenever that person get back up, if the other person hit that low point, then kick in. We don't even it's not even like a negotiation. It's just understood. And that's probably been the dopest part as we've both been learning how to manage finances, because we both jumped off the porch. She left corporate in 2015 and was like, I'm just gonna start a business. Had a little bit of savings, we was listening to podcasts here and there before podcasts was podcasting. And she was like, I'm gonna just do it. And I supported her. I was going to school at the time. We had just had Madison, and 4 months after that, I was like, I'm finna do real estate investing. Bump it. I'm dropping out of school. So we both really just kind of just jumped out there. Really no real nest egg. Credit was okay. But we ain't had no guidance, no aunts, no uncles, both our moms, they only know, go get a job, just keep consistent income in. So everybody was very apprehensive. Because it's 2015. People looking at us sideways like, y'all finna do what? Entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I'm about to ask y'all, like, how is that now that y'all full time in this? You know how that, I already know how it goes. People be looking at you crazy when they don't understand something.
Yeah, that's what it was. People was looking at us crazy, asking us questions every Sunday dinner.
Everything I feel like we did back then, like, was questioned or looked at funny, like we some weirdos. Like everything, like even when we like just something as small as homeschooling Madison. Like she's never been in public school or nothing like that, and we had been said before we even started the whole homeschooling, we made it known that's what we wanted to do, and everybody was worried about the social aspect. We like, we don't care about no social aspect. That's not why we chose to homeschool. You know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that. Like a lot of decisions that we made that are out of the norm, people looked at it like that's not the way to go. Are y'all sure? Like it was a lot of like just, I guess, hesitation for what the decisions that we made.
For sure.
Okay, now, hey, this is what I want. Let's dive in. How y'all met? How y'all got together? Let's get into that story.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
I always tell this story. So I'm gonna let him tell it.
So yeah, we met in high school. So we high school sweethearts, I guess is the how the phrase goes. So I didn't know Princess went to. So we both went to Lancaster High School. And I had been going there probably for like half a semester at this point. Because I transferred from Belt, and she was walking in the parking lot, and I seen her getting out of her car. It's after school. Me and my boy Ben, we headed to track practice. So like, if you know Lancaster High School, the new Lancaster High School, you got the school, and then you got to walk to the stadium, and then there's an indoor field. And the indoor field was where we was headed to for track practice. So as we walking towards the indoor field, she's getting out of her car, headed back to the school. So we almost crossing paths. I just looked. She had a slick back ponytail, white polo, because we had to wear uniforms. And I was just like, yo, Ben, who is that? And he was like, oh, man, that's Princess. Man. He kind of waved it off. I was like, nah, fam, like, I need to know her. Yeah, so Ben, you know, my boy, he was like, bet, yeah, cool. He's like, what's up, Princess? And she's like, hey, Ben. I was like, oh, so she knows. I was like, how you doing, Princess? She's like, hey. I said, oh, yeah, it's a wrap now. It's a wrap. Go to, I go to practice, hyped in the mud. Like, yeah, I done met Princess. So pretty much every time I was seeing the hallway, I didn't know what to say. Because she like, you know, I'm nervous. I'm like, I don't even know what to say to her. So the very first words that come to my mouth, I'm telling you, it's just like out of a movie. I see her crossing past the hallway. I'm like, hey, Princess. She's like, hey, let me get $1.
And he not lying either. This is for real.
On God. That was the first. And in my mind, I was like, fam, now you out here looking like a brokey. She looking at you like, no, like I'm okay. And I asked, like, and this second time I see her, I said the exact same thing. I could not think of nothing to say to her. So she finally was like, do you really need $1? I was like, no.
At this point, I'm concerned, I guess.
Yeah, so it wasn't a good look. But, you know, I started asking around. She was cool. Princess is cool with a lot of the trainers at the time. So we moving from, matter of fact, this might have been football practice, not track practice. Right. We had trainers for football. So I started asking the trainers, like, yo, y'all know Princess? Everybody seemed to know Princess. And I'm like, why have I never heard of this girl? Like, I ain't know everybody in school, and I wasn't the most popular, but I felt like I knew a good amount of people. So everybody just seemed to know who she was. They're like, oh, yeah, she just transferred from Duncanville, this, that, and the third. Cool. So I'm just putting my little inquiries out there. And, you know, fast forward, man, we ended up linking. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly. So she texts me out the blue after like a month of us just kind of speaking to each other. She texts me out the blue. I don't know how she got my number, none of that. I'm playing Madden. I was staying with my aunt at the time. We were going through some rough stuff. My mom was going through some rough stuff at the time. So I moved in with my aunt. And I get this random text. It's in all caps. Man, it's on site when I see you. I drop my controller. Who the is this? And I don't know who it is. We going back and forth. And she's like, no, I'm just playing this, Princess. Hey, Chris. I'm like, oh.
Boy's hype.
Man. And ever since then, man, it's been a wrap, you know. So that's how we met, man. That's how we got started.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, but that's dope as hell. You don't see that often, man. You don't see that often. Like, you don't see people high school sweethearts ain't no thing really like that no more, man. So that's beautiful, man, to see that. Young love, man. And it's going. And y'all doing it big. Y'all ain't doing it by the book. Y'all doing it on your own way. So that's
Man,
something dope. And your daughter get to see that coming up. So that's
yeah,
definitely dope. Now, y'all mentioned something. Y'all keep y'all finances separate. And y'all know
yeah,
everybody always love to talk about, like, it's funny because so many people talk about that whole, like, oh, is it gonna be 50-50? Is the man gonna pay everything? Like,
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
like that's crazy. And I think it's dope because like the way y'all said it is just, teamwork type style. Teamwork make the dream work. So that's
For
definitely
sure.
dope. I just want to reiterate that to the people out there listening, because a lot of y'all be just talking about, oh, somebody got to cover everything, or no, we definitely got to go 50-50, or it got to be this way, when it's really like, at the end of the day, y'all a partnership.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's why I always mention that to people. Like, I just be curious how that goes. And that's why I was kind of happy y'all mentioned that.
for
But,
sure.
oh, man. So I'm trying to figure out where I want this to go. Now, that was a beautiful story, man. I'm kind of caught up in that. I'm like, damn, look at that.
Uh-uh.
Appreciate
So
it.
this one right here, really for like Chris, because I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
kind of talk a little bit about what you're doing with the trading. So, like,
for
kind of
sure.
break down to people like how you got into this world
Yeah.
and kind of where, like, what made you think that this is the route, like, for you to go? Because deciding that. Because I know you mentioned you was doing real estate for a little bit. You tried a
Yep.
couple things. Like, what made you stick with this?
For sure. Yeah, that's a great question too. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I knew I didn't want to work for nobody. I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I couldn't even tell you I didn't know the word existed. So getting out, that was just like the whole thing. Like, man, I've been under somebody's thumb for 6 years. It's like, I don't have to work for nobody. But I didn't know how I was going to bring that to fruition. But I told Princess when I get home, I pretty much kind of like moved in with her because she already had a spot. She was working. Um, and we were already pretty much like, we finna move forward. We'll figure out all of the details on how to, like, get a spot together, so on and so forth. So I moved in with her essentially. And then I told her, I said, I ain't gonna do nothing for a month. I'm gonna just be lazy. Because I had been straight Marine just since I graduated high school. After that, we pretty much I get a sponsored ad to me from Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, about a seminar coming to Dallas. We decided to go to it, spent the bread on it, and then pretty much started that journey. So that's how I caught the real estate bug, and then I started to see, because at this time I'm going to school, so I started to see, I was like, okay, so I can do real estate investing, and I don't have to like answer nobody. I ain't got to worry about clocking in. I can just buy properties,
Right.
flip them, so on and so forth. So that was like the seed. That's why I started learning about entrepreneurship. So it was a rush. Everything financial literacy, everything investment, everything, right?
Mm.
Um, as I went through that process, though, there was a lot of people that I was meeting in that world that I just felt like was shady. And that's not to say real estate investing was shady. It was just the people that I was coming across. And I don't know what the factors were. Maybe it's because I was, a little bit younger back then, or whatever the case may be. It wasn't something that I felt like was my personality. I don't care for sales per se. I'm good at it. I understand it, but I don't care for it. So once I transitioned from real estate investing, I just started trying stuff because I was learning about different ways to make money. Um, but this was all brand new, so everything was shiny object syndrome. I was like, oh, I can do
Man.
this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do email marketing, I can do this. So I tried everything, literally every single thing. If there's something that has been like talked about on IG, Facebook, whatever the case may be, I've tried it. I've seen a YouTube video course on it. I bought a book. I got a bookshelf right here. I probably got well over 100 books. I was just reading and just consuming. Princess, to tell you, I used to like stay up from noon
Hmm.
to like 6 a.m. Like my sleep schedule was built so that I could work at night and study and research and build stuff, online or what have you. And I did that for months. Like people was like, yo, you still in the bed? You still asleep? Not realizing I had literally went from 12
Yeah.
noon the day before.
Hmm.
So nothing was really like that thing for me. It didn't really spark that passion for me. So in 2018, I was doing independent insurance adjusting. And for people that don't know,
Man, I'm doing that now.
oh, okay, yeah,
Hmm.
you
Yep.
understand the grind then.
Yeah, I switched over to it trying to work from home, man. I don't know. We gonna see what it's like. I'm like a month in. It was ain't
Man,
no
my prayers
joke.
go out to you.
There's money in it. I
Yeah,
give them that, but
it
sheesh,
is.
them
They go.
hours, boy.
They gonna work you though. They're gonna work you for sure. So yeah, I pretty much while I was doing that, I was stationed out in Atlanta, doing some work for State Farm. and it was a lady that I work with. She was always like on her phone, and so I asked Lenny, what you doing on the phone? Her name Lenny. Lenny, what you doing on the phone? She's like, oh, I'm trading. What's that? She's like, oh, I'm just sitting here, making money, from investing in stocks and options. What's that? And so she just started telling me more and more and more because I'm just asking questions. Princess will tell you, like, I ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm the type of person, I'm not ashamed to say, I don't know that. Can you tell me about it?
Sure.
So I just constantly was just asking questions. And so she recommended a book. Then she recommended a YouTube. And she told me, oh, download this app called Robinhood. Mine just 2018. So I was like, cool, bet. And lo and behold, I just start, tinkering with it and going on YouTube, just trying to figure out different stuff. And I remember I invested like $100, $200 in like a Coca-Cola option. Ended up losing all of it. I was like, I don't understand how this stuff works now. You said you making thousands. I just lost 200. Like
that sounds like me with Forex, boy. No, forget that. Well, I blew money in seconds. I didn't know that was possible.
Bro, yeah. Like you click a button, it's gone. Like, dang, all right. Let me hit a refund? No refund. Like, but yeah, over time, I was just kind of going back and forth with it. I was still doing IA work, making good money. And then like 2020, matter of fact, that's when the pandemic hit. By this point, we were just shutting down our Airbnb just because it was just time consuming. Our schedule just wouldn't allow us to like do it. And I had scaled it to where it was automated, but I was just like, I don't like the headache. I don't like the worry. I gotta worry too much about it. It didn't fit my personality. It didn't fit hers. So at this point, I was like, I'm gonna take trading full time. I'm gonna take it seriously, not full time. I'm gonna take it seriously. And that's what I did, man. I just started. I started paying for mentorships. I started locking in with different groups. So I was a part of Wall Street Trappers group when he had like maybe 40 people. So constantly was in his book clubs, like talking to him personally before he, blew up. And it's dope to see that, right? Like before EYL blew up, the Chris Johnsons of the world. So all of these different people, I was tapping in with them early. Buying books, figured out, open up an account. I started trading futures. Got pretty good at it actually. And then I just shifted because I ended up making a good bit of money on like a Tesla option play on Robinhood. And I remember showing Princess, I was like, pulled out my phone. I said, hey, you're not going to believe this. Pulled up the Robinhood. I said, boom. She was like, oh, snap.
Yeah. That was around the time when Tesla did that crazy pop. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. And I had shares.
Man, I couldn't tell you, like, I'd be lying if I told you that I planned it to happen that way. That was just me just testing, just figuring stuff out, just being in the right place at the right time, man. And after that, I was hooked. I was like, yeah, this is it for me. I ain't got to talk to nobody. I ain't got to sell nothing. I don't have to do, crazy IA work with people blowing my phones up or none of that. It's just, I can just sit in front of my computer, make money, lose money, whatever the case may be, close my laptop and be done with work for the day. So that's why trading stuck to me. It spoke to my personality versus any other venture.
Nah, but you mentioned two things. For one, understanding like your personality and what worked for you. And it's crazy because I'm in the same boat now. Like I don't like talking to people, but I know like the stuff that I'm doing, I can scale it out to where I ain't got to talk to nobody. So people definitely got to like, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people don't understand like, you got to be able to understand what type of person you're like. You don't need to be like, I'm the same as you. Like I know sales, but I ain't a person that really care to be out here trying to convince somebody to buy nothing either. Like even with my cleaning business, I don't do that. Like it's either like luckily it's just like they already know what they want when they're coming to me. Prince could say the same thing about her boutique. It's like they already know what they want when they come to you. So it's like boom, just like do you have it or not? Can you offer at the price I'm trying to pay? And it's the same. Like that's why I was like even when I did trade, that's why I got attracted to the trading game because like I don't have to deal with nobody, and it's all on you. So at the end of the day, it's like I tell people. It's just how much time you want to put into your crowd. And it's more of a testament to you, right? Because you mentioned when you first started, first L off the bat, bro, most people going to quit. Like, I got friends that I tried to put on crypto back in 2016, 2017. And then when that drop happened, most of them just quit. And they were just like, dog, you had to just stuck with it for a little bit. Like, you be up right now. Like, back then, Bitcoin was like, 1,300 when I was begging my boys to buy because I was broke as hell. I was like, bro, just buy it just because I was like, please just buy it. You got bread, like you got money, buy it. And then next thing you know, we looking at Bitcoin now like $40,000, $50,000 for one. So it just gonna tell people like if you just consistent, you stay with something, And then also understanding when to let something go too, because I know you was mentioning about the real estate. And like, do y'all still have that area? Like y'all sold the house and y'all still got like as a rental property?
Nah, we got rid of it completely.
Oh, okay, all together. Okay.
We popped it. We literally popped it off right before the pandemic hit. So it was making us money. Yeah, but it was making us money. But then it started getting crazy with the type of people that was booking it. Like we'll tell you like after this, but it was like some crazy type stuff going on. It was even one.
No, y'all need to get one story for somebody out there that might want to do this. Because see, people be thinking this is all great.
Like, it got crazy.
I give you a short.
Yeah, because like people be thinking this stuff is all great, and because you know social media.
Man, so we didn't have a problem making money before or after the pandemic. Like it low key, it was a cash cow. We ran into an incident where once the pandemic hit, you had a certain type of traveler that was coming in, and these were the people that didn't care. So think about it. Somebody don't care about their hygiene, they don't care about other people's hygiene. They already kind of moving foul, right? So we showed up because at the time this was before we got cleaners. We were showing up to clean our unit whenever we had somebody check out, right? So we pull up. And we doing our thing cleaning. I open a drawer. I kid you not, it was a sack. It had over 200 condoms in there. Not used. They was just a sack. I'm talking about just.
So we like either there was like some prostitution going on.
They shot a flick
or something.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was crazy.
It was wild, bro. So that's the short and sweet.
That's one incident.
Damn.
I still got the picture too. I took a picture. I couldn't believe it. Damn. But yeah, so like pretty much we decided to walk away from it, like I said, because it went back to our personalities. It was taking way too much of our time. And by the time that I got cleaners, by the time I got a virtual assistant, I had automated everything. Once I automated it and we were still making money, I just told Princess, like, baby, I don't want to do this. Like this, it's too much of a headache. And I can only imagine having 10 properties, 30 properties, 100 properties, because you still are having to manage people. I still had to manage my VAs. I still had to manage my cleaners. I still had to manage, minor little, hiccups that, couldn't be just handled by the VA. So I just knew, like, I could see it long term. Like, I don't want to build this big thing and then not be happy.
All right. Sheesh. But I mean, at the end of the day, you still found what worked for you, though. But that's what I was saying. Like, I'm glad that like y'all mentioned stuff like that, because a lot of people are just trying to do what everybody else is doing, especially with social media going so crazy right now. It's just like you see this going, and it's like, okay, I'm about to try this too. And don't get me wrong, like I was that person too. Like, especially once I started this podcast, bro. When I say I tried everything that somebody mentioned on this podcast, I went and tried it, and it was just like after a while, you realize you can't do everything. And I remember I came across Andre Hatch, and he was just like, focus on like sometimes you gotta slow down and speed up and master in one thing, and then you can kind of branch off a little bit through partnerships and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I maneuver now. Like I stick to what I'm doing, and everything else got to be some type of partnership where I can maybe just put up the money because I got the money to put up, and then they can do the work. And it's just like we still benefiting each other, but I ain't got to be the face of this. I ain't got to deal with it. So now that's definitely something I'm glad y'all mentioned, man.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, that's a good tidbit of information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like, hey, y'all the ones giving the game, man, not me. I'm just over here taking it in. But what you mean? I'm just being real. So, but no, like it's y'all being high school sweethearts. This is definitely something different because I think the Hearts Alls, they about the same. See, I had them on, but can y'all kind of just talk about? So, Princess was saying that you help her out with her business. So, how is that like for you? Like helping you getting to see that, like seeing that aspect. You don't want to like go work on that with her at no point or nothing like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, in the early stages when she was getting started out, I think there was a lot that I saw that I probably could be a part of. But quite honestly, since this has been her dream, and I don't want to say dream like, oh, she's dreamed of this as a kid. I know that she's always wanted to be a business owner, right? But we both started real estate together. And then I was still doing real estate and she branched off, so to speak, to start her business. But we're still under the same roof. I still know what's going on. I'm still helping out any way that I can. But quite honestly, I wanted to just be from the sidelines. I've never wanted to be the guy that wanted to, I guess, be known or be in front of the camera. And I knew what she was building, she was going to have to eventually like get out there, put her face out there and so on and so forth. So in the early stages, I just shied away from it, and I didn't even want to pry. If she would have asked me, yeah, absolutely. But I really actually take more pride in just watching her build it, knowing that she has me at any time that she needs me, but not necessarily needing me to do what she's ultimately always wanted to do with or without me. You know what I mean? So
Nah, what's
that
up?
yeah, it's just been beautiful to watch it. And again, I'll take pictures here and there. She'll come to me with questions because sometimes you just got to bounce out, ideas off. I'm 100% fine with that because I feel like if I come into the business, I know that even though we may not have issues, we may not argue or none of that. At least I wouldn't say major issues and like that. Everybody argue, everybody got little disputes, but we're in a very good space. So if I were to go into business, there's going to be a way that she wants to run her business, and then there's going to be a way that I want to run a business. And us being mature enough and just knowing, like, hey, I love you enough to just be out your way, because I don't want to be that guy that comes in and be like, well, I think you can do this better. I think you can do that better. It just
Yeah, try to
causes friction.
change it. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So she made the decision to go off, and I say go off. I don't want to sound negative, but she made the decision. I'm going to start a business and build this thing. And I said, man, I'm 100% behind that, and that's just how we've kept it. That's been the culture ever since.
Okay. And so now y'all got a daughter and everything. Like how? And I know y'all mentioned homeschool. So how is things where you have like a whole nother person you taking care of, and coming from like, cause I know what I think about, like coming from the background that we come from, right? But now you got like your own kid. How is that? Like, you teach, cause y'all say y'all homeschool, so y'all getting to teach her things in a whole different light. That ain't even like she got to worry about going to school and getting taught a certain way. So how is that for y'all? Like, how do y'all juggle that with y'all's entrepreneurship? Like, that's
Look, it's funny you say how we juggle it. We are like, at this point, she's actually about to be 7 on the 23rd. So at this point, it's like she still needs that constant attention, of course. So with him obviously doing his thing, me doing my thing, we don't, to this day, like there's no real balance. You know what I mean? Like we can't say like, oh, we do this, because like we don't like force her to get up early. We pretty much let her get her rest, get up when she wants to. And we've had a teacher, phenomenal teacher, who we had do like virtual learning with her. She would also like come to the house and they would do like, sit side by side and do learning like that. But that teacher has like her own business of like teachers. So she's not able to like really, be available. So we pretty much take it on when we need to or whatever. So it's like trading, my boutique stuff, learning, mommy, daddy, like we do a lot, and people don't really be realizing like we be having a lot on our plate, and they be thinking we just like antisocial. I guess we, in a sense, we can be, but a lot of times it's like we just ain't got the time, like
or the energy.
Yeah, energy, time. We be really like just chilling. We spend most of our time with her. Like we have support system as far as like grandparents, because they're the only ones that we allow to even watch her besides us. So it's not like we don't take her to no daycares. It's not like, oh, spend the night over here. We don't allow none of that unless, cousins come here and stuff like that. So a lot of it is on us. So like when we get that downtime, we big chilling, like big chilling. And we not really out there like that. So when you was talking about like the networking and stuff like that with like Black Wealth Renaissance and stuff like that.
Shouts out to BWR.
Like real talk, because we don't, or we haven't went to a lot of those networking events, because like it be just like we don't be having the time to. So when we do, and then we meet people like you and everybody else, it's like a breath of fresh air, because we don't get that a lot.
That's facts.
Nah, y'all definitely had something with that though, for real.
That's facts. Yeah, it's not easy, and we still learning. It's extremely time consuming. Like we have almost no time to do anything extracurricular. So really, what we do, what Princess is sort of like hinting at, when we do networking events, that's date night for us. It's a 2-for-1. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
We figured it out. Probably last year we was like, yo, we don't ever really do dates, but we enjoy doing business stuff. So why not just pair it with the two? So if we go do a business event, if they got food, cool. We got entertainment, food. That's the date night. If not, then we'll knock it out. We'll bang out networking for about an hour, or go to a seminar for about an hour, whatever the case may be. Go get dinner at a nice restaurant, and then head to the house. Pick up baby girl and chill. So
for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Now, real quick, what I want to ask y'all, for all the couples out there that want some shit like what y'all got, right? What's like a little piece of advice y'all could get them? Because like at a certain point, you start throwing in work, kids, all that. Like, how do you make it work between y'all? So like, what's like a little bit of advice y'all can give somebody out there that's trying to figure out how to like, keep that alive, but also deal with their regular life. Life is life at the end of the day, especially when you start incorporating kids into it.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say one thing for sure, if you have a support system, use them. Like, use them when you need them, because like you said, we don't do like these big grand date nights and stuff just because we don't really make the time. And when we do, it's literally like it just happens. For example, if she want to go spend time with the grandparents, we'll just so happen to, need to run errands or chill at the house. And the next thing we know, we make it a quick little date day or, lunch date or whatever. But if you have that support system, I would say use them, whether it's, grandparents or just whoever you trust, like with your kids, if it's a situation where you have kids, because if you just go like 24/7, just y'all, kids or your business or whatever, it is very draining, and it can like make you feel like you don't have no like me time or us time or whatever. So I think it's like very major to just take some of that downtime to spend with each other. If, like I said, if you do have kids, and even if you don't have kids, make sure you're still taking time to just hang out when it's not business related, because you do need time to just chill and do nothing. Watch Power or something,
Yeah. My tidbit advice, one thing I had to learn was understanding how she communicates. So like, it's one thing for me to communicate the way that I communicate. I'm very verbal. I'm very blunt. I don't like to read between the lines. Just tell me what you got to tell me. I feel like most men are like that. Like, we don't do too well with the whole But once I learned how she communicated, I took the time to learn and develop ways to cater to that. So I know that she likes quality time, right? I know she likes acts of service. So, and I get this from the 5 Love Language. I haven't read the book personally. We do own the book, but that's a book. That's a book that I would recommend if you're in a relationship, married, whatever the case may be. So once I learned that, bro, like, life started to get a little bit easier for me, because I wasn't listening from my ears and my perspective. So when she was telling me something, I couldn't listen to what she was saying. I had to like watch what she was trying to say. If she started to act a little, weird on any given day, I have to think back, okay, what haven't I done? Or, when's the last time when we sat down and had, an hour of just intimate like TV time or intimate conversation or whatever the case may be. So that's really what it is. It goes beyond communication, just understanding how your partner communicates so that you can listen from their perspective, and, put in the work to see them be fulfilled through your actions. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And the
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Y'all be a call you took.
And it's funny you say that. We got a couple's YouTube channel and we ain't uploaded to that thing. It's been some years. We started it and
I want to say it was 2019, 2020, something like that.
Yeah. We started one, but we didn't like stay consistent with it. And one other little thing I want to throw in there to piggyback off the communication. If you and your significant other, spouse, boyfriend, whoever are having, I would say, like some form of an argument or whatever, keep it off social media.
Say that again, man.
Keep it off social media. And when I say keep it off social media, I don't mean the whole Facebook, what's on your mind, like those subliminal quotes and all of that, because I shouldn't know that you and your spouse beefing because you don't upload it 10 different quotes talking about how you mad at the world, like little stuff like that.
Family too. Like if you got a good relationship with your family, good relationship with your parents, I'm all for it. I'm a big supporter of it. But the last thing that I want as a man, as a husband, the last thing that my wife wants as a woman is for her, business to be told to people that they see you quite often, right? We're quick to forgive because we're in this thing together. Our family, not so much. So family can take that stuff to heart and be on your side 1,000% because they're ready to ride, not realizing you done forgave them before you even got back home. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Okay, then. Nah, I'm going to wrap this mug up. But definitely what I want to say is, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Appreciate y'all jumping a little game. especially because y'all got a different dynamic that you don't really hear often, especially with all the stuff going on in the world, and just being able to, work amongst each other with all the hectic things y'all got going on. And it's good people to see two entrepreneurs doing it that's doing it full time. So I definitely want to thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all for giving my time, y'all's time and coming on and, dropping some game with people. And it's been long overdue, but hey, perfect timing, man. It's just when it happens. Now, real quick, Chris, because we already got press and stuff on the last episode, but can you just kind of drop how people can like tap in with you, follow what you got going on? I mean, I know you say you low key, but just in case somebody want to tap in and check out something every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm primarily on IG, fan base, Twitter, and TikTok too. But it's all THED Chris CHRIS Neugent NEUGENT the Chris Neugent on all those platforms.
Okay, real quick, since we got you on a whole new episode, Princess, can you just drop yours as well? Just for anybody that may be tapping into this one for the first time.
You can follow me on my personal Instagram page and TikTok at Princess Neugent PRINCESSNEUGENT. If you would like to follow my business page, it is Shop Neugent SHOPNEUGENT and website shopneugent.com if you would like to shop my clothing.
Shameless plug.
All right, ain't no shame in it. But you already know, man. We're gonna have all that in the show notes, man. Once again, I want to thank the Neugents for coming through, man, dropping a little bit of game on our relationship and finances series. And like I always say, man, we're good at success for everybody right still struggling, man. Each one reach one, each one teach one, man. Another episode of What for the Culture, man. I don't ask often, leave reviews, man. Let us know how y'all like the show, man. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the support and all the love that I've been getting, man. And like I say, man, it's been a month, but we back. So, appreciate everybody. Appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah.